On the edge of a quiet town, there stood an old, dilapidated house, abandoned for years. No one dared go near it, not since the tragic disappearance of the Harris family many decades ago. The locals whispered that the house was cursed, haunted by the restless spirits of the family that had vanished without a trace. But one night, Sarah, an adventurous young woman, decided to explore the house. Her friends warned her not to, but Sarah didn't believe in ghost stories. She packed a flashlight, her phone, and a sense of curiosity, and ventured into the house, determined to uncover the truth. Sarah pushed open the creaky door and stepped inside. The air was thick with dust, and the smell of mold lingered in the darkness. She turned on her flashlight, the beam of light cutting through the blackness. She made her way through the house, the floorboards creaking under her feet. In the kitchen, she noticed a table set for dinner, plates, glasses, and cutlery, all neatly arranged, though it looked as if no one had touched them in years. A strange feeling crawled up her spine. Something wasn't right. She walked up the stairs, each step groaning under her weight. As she reached the top, she heard a soft whisper. "Sarah?" She froze. The whisper was faint, like a voice carried on the wind. "Who's there?" she called, her voice trembling. No response. Her heart began to race as she walked deeper into the house, passing long, dark corridors filled with shadows that seemed to move on their own. The walls seemed to close in around her. She thought she heard the sound of footsteps, but when she turned, no one was there. Suddenly, she felt a cold breath against the back of her neck. She spun around, but the hallway was empty. The air felt heavier, as if the house itself were breathing, waiting for something. Another whisper echoed through the hall. "Leave, now." Sarah's hands shook as she pulled out her phone, thinking about calling for help, but the signal was gone. The phone flickered once before going completely black. Turning around, she noticed a door at the end of the hallway, slightly ajar. She hesitated, but couldn't shake the feeling that whatever this house had to offer, she had to face it. She pushed the door open slowly. Inside, the room was pitch black, the only source of light being the faint glow of her dying flashlight. As she stepped in, the temperature dropped dramatically. It felt like walking into an icebox. She reached for the light switch, but before she could flip it, she heard something strange, the sound of breathing. It wasn't her own breath, it was someone else's. Slowly, the whispering began again. "Help us." Her heart pounded. She backed away, but the door slammed shut, trapping her inside. Suddenly, the shadows in the room began to shift, as if they had a life of their own. Figures began to emerge from the darkness, ghostly, translucent shapes. She could barely make out their features, but their eyes, pale and lifeless, stared at her. One by one, the figures came closer and the whispers grew louder. They weren't just whispers anymore. They were voices, pleading, begging. "Help us," they repeated, their voices growing more desperate. One of the shadows stepped forward, and Sarah could see it clearly. It was a man, dressed in old-fashioned clothes with hollow eyes. He reached out toward her with a bony hand. "Help us break free." Before Sarah could react, the room went completely dark. When Sarah awoke, she was no longer in the room. The house was silent. The temperature had returned to normal. She was sitting in the dining room, in front of the table that had been set for dinner, but something was off. She could feel the eyes of the shadows still watching her. As she stood up, she noticed something that made her blood run cold. There, on the wall, was a faded photograph of the Harris family. In the picture, the family looked happy, but Sarah's face was in the photograph too. Her mouth went dry, and her heart skipped a beat. She wasn't just a visitor. She had been here before. The whispers came again, louder now. "Help us. Break free." And just before she could scream, the room went dark again. The end.